Okay, well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 18th day of April 2024. Well, I'm having glitchy stuff happening on my desktop, so I'm going to do this on my laptop, and we'll see how this goes. This is actually the first time I've done the video on this new laptop, so we'll just see. I already took the rune for today, Othala. I'll show you that here. This is, I need to make sure, I've got to figure out where the best lighting is here. I've got part of my computer, my desktop's on here, so it's providing some of the lighting, but it's not going to be the same. Anyway, this is Othala. It's the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's really about, well, it's the last rune of the Elder Futhark, so it's kind of the culmination of all learning. One of the way I see, well, part of the way I see it is the Akashic record of our lives, essentially. Everything that the soul has learned and all of the higher principles it's learned to deal with over time here. But it's essentially the sacred space we established for ourselves: loyalty, tradition, possessions, inheritance, all of that, protection. If you look closely, you're looking at the top part of it is actually is Ingus, which is the seed, and the bottom half of it is the X, then would be Gebo, or the gift of reciprocity, balanced energy exchange. So everything basically becomes light with this, and so it's a very it's a very high vibrational rune from the Elder Futhark that's going to start us out today. And let's see, since I totally destroyed my whole desk area here, let me find my geomancy runes. And so I don't lose them. Let's see, that mouse goes to the desktop. This goes to the laptop. What a mess. At least I have this as an option, you know. I'm going to move the cards out of the way. So I've got a place to throw these down. And I'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. See, there's air, there's water, and there's earth. So we're looking at Tristitia, or I'm sorry, Laetitia today. Tristitia is its complement. Laetitia is about joy. Let me find it here. Oh, it's right here. But it's extreme joy, and reversed would be Tristitia, which would be extreme sorrow or loss, and it's getting stuck there. So, but Laetitia really is a positive rune. It's fortunate. It's joyful, and it's how we express joy really in our lives. So I'm just going to leave this right up here. Normally I have a desk area to work on, and I don't. I have to use the altar table here, which is fine. I've already done most of the shuffling, so I'm not really gonna do too much here. Yeah, but we'll see how this goes today. I did a lot of stuff to the computer the last time because all the storage went away. I exhausted all my storage, my iCloud storage. So I had to buy more. and I was able to delete a bunch of stuff, but I don't know. There's an update that needs to happen, so maybe I just need to do that, and it'll stop being glitchy. But until I figure it out, we're going to be doing this on the laptop for a while. So anyhow, I've shuffled. I'm going to cut the deck and take the lower half. I'm going to put that top half over here, and I'm going to, oh my, well, how about that? Well, it's all major arcana cards today. And let me see here if I can find my, oh, here we go here. I want to do the overall numerology before I continue here, before I tell you what the cards are. Well, I'll tell you as I go, but we've got, well, I'll tell you anyway now. The Devil, the Tower, and the Star. I don't know if I'm going to leave them in that order, but we'll see. Now, we had a 6 numerology. 24 reduces to 6 for Othala. The Devil is 15. Again, that's a 6. Plus, let's see, 16 on the, so that's 16, so 7 on the Tower. And then we have 17. Oh, that's interesting. 15, 16, 17. So 17 is an 8 for the Star. That's kind of cool. It just went in that order. So now we have 27 as the overall, 2 and 7 is 9. So we have a 9 numerology then for today's reading. 9 is considered a very spiritual number. It's also considered endings and completion. So something may be coming to an end today, or if we're looking at the spiritual aspects of it, the higher self aspects of the 9, given that we have all of these major arcana cards, I'm just going to say, well, in fact, I'm going to see if I can set them right here so I can look at them better. Yeah, I can do that right there. There's enough room. Anyway, I think we'll look at this from the standpoint of spirituality. So then the culmination then with Othala, the sacred space we establish in our lives, has to be one of the higher self and not of the ego at all. And with Laetitia as the geomancy rune, then that brings joy to our lives, essentially. So let's look though at, let me just look at here first. Yeah, okay, I'm going to leave it in the order we have it. Here we have the devil. I'm going to try and, so we don't have some kind of a glare on it there. I think that's good there. Here again, we're looking at a goat-headed figure. He's got the horns there. You see the inverted pentagram. It would be what it would look like otherwise. Inverted, it just means that it's pointing down to physical reality or to ego. And here you've got the two human figures down below. There's chains around their neck. That's tied to the post that the devil figure is perched on. You see the devil is in the same as above, so below stance that the magician has, only instead of the wand going to heaven or to spirit and drawing down that energy into its manifestation that the devil is doing, or not the devil, the magician is doing, I'm sorry. But here we have it the other way around. And instead of a wand, you're seeing his torch there that's pointing down to physical reality. It's lighting the oak leaf on the tail of the male figure here. But essentially, and then of course here, this is either a strawberry or a pomegranate. To me, it looks more like a pomegranate, but I don't know. We'll see. I need to make sure this stays up, so I have to constantly do this with my mouse. Anyway, again, learning curve here today. I started out doing this on a laptop. It was on a Windows laptop. Then I moved to a Mac laptop. And then I moved to something bigger, which was my desktop that's a Windows one. And then I got the desktop that's the Mac. And I really like that one. So why it's glitching on me, I don't know. I think I'm going to install that update, though. But anyways, bear with me here. Anyhow, we've got essentially with the devil, it's being a slave to desire or a slave to ego. And that's one of the lessons that the soul goes through in form, learning to make its presence known and not lower its vibration down into the reactive ego. And that's really what the lesson is here with the devil card. And so then we move on to the tower, where we have this idea of transformation. Given that it has a 7 numerology for it, you're looking at the scales, and if you can kind of envision a set of scales here where you have 2 figures falling out of the tower after the lightning comes in and blows the top off, right? And you see smoke billowing out and fire coming out of the windows, and we don't know that they've fallen to their death, though there could be a nice big moat that they're going to fall into, and you know they're going to be fine. But at the same time, we don't know that, but we'll just assume that they're fine. We're not going to worry about them. But the tower is transformative. It's catalytic. If you look at the, I don't think I have it handy in here right now, but from the Thoth Tarot, if you look at that version of the tower, you really see catalytic energy. It's all oranges and yellows, and you see this big dragon at the bottom. It's breathing out fire. It's a very cool card. If you have the Thoth Tarot, you know what I'm talking about. But it's It's an interesting card, and it really expresses the catalytic nature of this. There's something that comes in from higher awareness that blows the lid off of everything, that gets you back on track. So whatever issues you were having here with trying to figure out, okay, higher self or ego, which wins out, right? Something's going to happen here with the result of this experience with the tower that's very catalytic. It's something that is really not, well, you're allowing it to come in as a soul to shake things up a little bit here, so that you can transform your perceptions away from the reactive ego and into spirit with the star. Here we have the goddess in her nude form. She's pouring water both into the water of spirit, essentially, both into the pond and onto the land next to her. Now, you'll see in all of these tarot cards, pretty much all of them, evidence of other, especially in the minor arcana, you'll see cards that have other aspects, other elements to them, other than the suit that they represent. And so here, you're seeing a blending here of the waters of spirit nourishing the pond and the land at the same time, simultaneously. We see the abundance around on the land here. You see little flowers growing. You see a fun little bird right here. You see some mountains in the distance. But the bird is sitting on a tree on a hill here. And with the star, it's essentially wishing upon a star. The star represents our hopes and our dreams and making those things reality. But doing it again from a level of higher awareness that doesn't reflect ego. So here with the star, we would align probably Laetitia with that level of higher resonance, joy that is soul, that's basically soul based, that's higher awareness based, and encompassing then everything into all that we know, and creating our sacred space that's based in joy and love and community and higher awareness. And so how does this all apply to what's going on for you today? Whatever it is, and given that we don't know because we have all higher principles here with all of it really, maybe not so much with Laetitia, but with Othala and the three major arcana cards. You're looking at a higher vibratory experience here. And so if you are dealing, whatever you're dealing with today, whatever issues you are dealing with, whatever interactions you have, make sure that it is coming from the standpoint of the star. All right? You will avoid reacting in a way that doesn't really understand the bigger picture with the devil. You won't react with ego. Whatever it is, you will allow the transformation of awareness to happen based on coming to a conclusion, allowing that 7 numerology to work for you with the tower, letting everything, like the scales, letting everything come to a rest and observe while that's happening, so that you really understand what's happening in the situation you're dealing with before you start reacting in a way that's judgmental or harsh or what have you there. And then, the star comes in, you realize you show the compassion that you need to show, you show the restraint that you need to show. You try to align with the individual, if there's an individual or individuals involved, in a way that holds a higher resonance, where you're not getting angry, that you're trying to respond in the most loving way possible. And understand that when you do that, you're expressing the light of spirit with Othala. Again, it's Kenaz in all directions. Let me draw that out for, if you've never been here before, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, you've seen me do this before. I'm going to draw out Othala, and I'll show you that. And you'll see how I'm not an artist. But there's Othala, okay? Now, I'm going to explode it out around it, and I'm going to show you what Kenaz looks like. And I'll draw that down here at the bottom so you can see it. But you have it everywhere. Okay, this is Kenaz, and Kenaz means the torch. It's, I believe it's either the 6th or 7th rune, 6th, I think, rune of the Elder Futhark, and don't quote me on that, though. And anyway, it essentially, it comprises Ingus, which is the top part. It looks like the diamond. And that would be Ingus. That would be the top here. That is the seed. And so it's the sudden release of energy into form. Well, what is that? Where does that come from? That comes from spirit. That's the soul's resonance compressing. And then in terms of like an actual seed in the garden, then once the water hits it and all of that, it soaks up all the water. There's then it suddenly releases into form. All right, the seed sprouts and it starts to grow. Okay, so just visualize that when you think Ingus. But then down on the bottom you have an X, and the X is also made up of Kenaz. You can see that down here. Here it is, and it's expressing outward in all directions. And so what you bring in and create then is expressed outward with Othala. And that's the process. You're learning that the soul is experiencing all the things, the 23 principles of the Elder Futhark prior to this one, culminating in that last one. And so this is realization today. If you want to come right down to it, it's realization that you're not going to react to something that could be challenging in a way that's difficult for you. Maybe you become very reactive and judgmental. Maybe you get upset. Maybe, you get nervous or whatever, but you don't want to do that. You want to use the energy of the tower to explode everything in your mind, essentially, and to transform everything, right, to where spirit is allowed to come through, and you let everything settle out and observe until you really have a good overall understanding of what things are. Sometimes when people start to tell us things, we get our back up and we react before we really hear everything that the person has said. Sometimes you have to ask questions so that you understand what's being said, or before you get all upset for nothing. And then in the final analysis, you're able to, with the star, express that love and compassion and understanding that really also aligns well with the idea of hopes and wishes for a very positive and loving outcome to happen. All right, but realistically, you have to be in the situation where you control that ego, and you let higher awareness blow the top off of your whatever the ego is trying to shell that it's created around you. Let it enter and observe before reacting, and understand the whole picture before reacting. And then you can come together with other people in a shared understanding, in a shared loving experience, where you can be supportive. Even if you disagree, you can still do it in a way that doesn't destroy the relationship you've established with that person. And in fact, if it's a person, right? Whatever it's generally people you're going to struggle with, right? And so for today, think about it that way. If something happens that seems you want to get upset about, stop that from happening. Take a step back, get quiet, hear the whole thing. Don't judge, and see if you don't end up in a better space with that person than you might have if you just would have gotten all upset and said things that later you have to take back and all of that. Sometimes people express themselves in a way that incite other people. It incites other people's emotions, and we know that. And maybe they're going through something and they're just not expressing themselves very well. If you give in to that and you respond to it, then maybe that's not really what they needed. Maybe they needed you to see through the emotion that they're feeling, and to try to get to a calmer space with the star that the star is talking about, creating that emotional balance. And remaining a little more grounded. When you see her pour the water onto the land, you're talking about grounding emotions here. The water element, of course, is our emotions, and we want to make sure that we don't respond in a way that isn't necessary. that maybe isn't going to help the person who's trying to say something, maybe saying it badly. You're letting their emotions get away from one another. And once that happens, up goes ours. Well, the idea, I think, behind today's reading is don't let that happen. Try to be as calm and collected as you can be, and listen with an open heart, and try to see beyond the message if you can. To try to understand where this person's coming from instead of judging and getting into an argument with them. So anyhow, see how that works for you today. And looks like we did this. And I don't know. Hopefully this will be back in. I'll work with it this weekend and see what I can do here. I'll do that update that it says it needs, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. If it doesn't, then for the foreseeable future, we might be doing this on my laptop. So, but that's all right. It'll work. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, and be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.